This is Gagan Girotra, IIT Roorkee class of 2000, and I am Calcutta class of 2005.
Now let's clarify some of the very common ambiguities that students face when dealing with problems in percentage. So the first ambiguity that students have to deal with is between increase by a certain percent versus increase to a certain percent, right? This has been dealt with earlier, but let's say if we were to increase something by 150% versus increase something to 150%, then in this case the original entity becomes 100 plus 150, 250% of the original. Whereas if something must be increased to 150%, then the answer I'm looking for is 150% of the original entity, right? So that's the one, that's the first cause of ambiguity to students. Please make sure you look for the word by or to whenever you're dealing with questions in percentage. This same problem occurs when we have to reduce by 20% and we have to reduce to 20%, right? In both these cases, again, if x must be reduced by 20%, then my answer is 80% of x. But if my x must be reduced to 20%, then the answer I'm looking for is just 20% of x, right? So notice that whenever there is 2 involved, we will just multiply this percentage with the whatever number we are going to change. If we have a by, then for increase by we add this percentage to 100%. Whenever we have reduced by, we reduce this percentage from 100% to arrive at our answer. The third ambiguity that we very commonly face, and that too in the language, is that there may be a question like this. Let's say I am using 10% of my salary on rent, is spent on rent, right? Now the question could say 50% of my salary is spent on food, right? Versus the second line of the question could say 50% of my remaining salary is spent on food. Now notice that there is a very small difference, and the small difference is this word remaining, right? This word has made an appearance, and this word is going to change the entire meaning of the sentence. How? In this case, I'm saying that 50% of my salary is spent on food. That means by now I have spent, so out of the 100% of my salary, I have spent 10% on rent, right? And I have spent 50% on food. So actually I'm right now, after this sentence, after reading up this sentence, I am actually just left with 100 minus 10 and 50, 40% of the original salary, right? But let's look at a situation that happens here. Now obviously I start with the 100% of my salary, right? And I spend, just like here, I spend 10% on rent, right? But what has now happened is I am left with 90%, right? And it is the 50% of the remaining, right? So actually the amount now getting spent on food is 50% of 90%, right? So this is 50% of 90%, which is equal to 45% of the original salary, right? So that's the amount now getting spent on food instead of the previous 50% of the overall salary getting spent on food, right? So this is what, this is a very important word to look out for in the problems on percentages. So this now becomes, so the amount I'm now left with is 45%, right? And not 40%.
Thanks for watching the video. You can give your feedback in the comments section below. Please click the like button if you thought the video was helpful. For lesson updates, you may subscribe to my YouTube channel People Plus, or you may read my blogs at peopleprep.com, or you can directly connect to us through our Facebook page @PeoplePlus, or you can email to me at gagan@peopleplus.com. Thank you.